looking for a quality, affordable, and convenience all-in-one shopping experience in Arua City? Look no further. Get all your shopping done at Esomat Hypermarket. We are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, 24/7. Esomat Hypermarket, conveniently located in the heart of Arua City on Central Road, Plot 5 off Transport Road. Everything you need under one roof with friendly service you can rely on, from fresh groceries and food items to household essentials, electronics, beverages, wines, and much more. Enjoy quality products, friendly service, and a comfortable shopping experience. Anytime you need to shop, day or night, Esomat Hypermarket is always open. Esomat Hypermarket. Smart shopping starts here. For more information, please call 0774 752544. you looking for a quality, affordable, and convenience all-in-one shopping experience in Arua City? Look no further. Get all your shopping done at Esomat Hypermarket. We are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, 24/7. Esomat Hypermarket, conveniently located in the heart of Arua City on Central Road, Plot 5 off Transport Road. Everything you need under one roof with friendly service you can rely on, from fresh groceries and food items to household essentials, electronics, beverages, wines, and much more. Enjoy quality products, friendly service, and a comfortable shopping experience. Anytime you need to shop, day or night, Esomat Hypermarket is always open. Esomat Hypermarket. Smart shopping starts here. For more information, please call 0774 752544.
I'm feeling cold. I feel tired.
Adui wapi? Adui yako.
Looking for a quality, affordable, and convenience all-in-one shopping experience in Arua City? Look no further. Get all your shopping done at Esomat Hypermarket. We are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, 24/7. Esomat Hypermarket, conveniently located in the heart of Arua City on Central Road, Plot 5 off Transport Road. Everything you need under one roof with friendly service you can rely on, from fresh groceries and food items to household essentials, electronics, beverages, wines, and much more. Enjoy quality products, friendly service, and a comfortable shopping experience. Anytime you need to shop, day or night, Esomat Hypermarket is always open. Esomat Hypermarket. Smart shopping starts here. For more information, please call 0774 752544.
Kulaba owekitiibwa Pulezidenti wange omulungi Amanya agange bampitamba baziririani okuva wano mu Itech Parish village bagiyita Keten. Nga nze beneficiary wa parish model eyasookera ddala. Nga nafuna akakadde k'ensimbi mukama wange. Nalina ekirooto kya kulunda nkoko z'amagi. Naye we nafuna akakadde ako, nagenda okatematema nga ndaba tekajjasobola kundeetera nkoko z'amagi. Ne nsalawo ntandike ne broiler mukama wange. Natandika n'enkoko 125. Akakoko kamu nakagulanga 2,800. Nenkozesa $35 okugula obukoko. Endala nengula emmere, eddagala n'ebigenderako mukama wange. Obukisa omulungi tezaafa. Nafiirwako just obukoko 2. Enkoko n'enzitunda nga ziwezezza omwezi nenfuna $1,500,000.
I'm feeling cold. I feel tired.
Adu, you are me. Adu, you are me.
It's believing in God that all things are possible.
Welcome to one of Africa's highest, most remote and unknown mountain ranges located in Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, bordering the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Rwenzori Mountains are stretched out over 120 kilometers long and 61 kilometers wide. They are called Mountains of the Moon, or even the Rainmaker, especially as she produces up to 350 days of rainfall annually. 13 Ugandan mountain climbers are about to set off on a journey to climb the highest peak of this pristine mountain range called the Margarita Peak.
This expedition, funded by the United Nations Development Program, is intended to showcase the beauty of the Rwenzori Mountain.
Flagged off by the United Nations Development Program country representative and Joshua Cheptegei, the fastest
and he will be led to his tent, where he's expected to sign the visitor's book,
while discovering the wonders
and
of
thereafter
this
the procession of the
and demanding mountain range.
To the people of Rwenzori, you have the best place in the world. Treasure it, keep it.
I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled to have this opportunity to summit Rwenzori.
Look at this. This is amazing.
officially and allows His Excellency the President to deliver his address to Parliament. Of course, the President's address is very much a part of the Constitution. Every year, at the start of Parliament, he's expected to deliver his State of the Nation address, and this is under Article 1011 of the Constitution. So the motorcade of His Excellency the President is now making its way to the reception point, and the guard has formed and is waiting for His Excellency to walk through the street guard with fanfare. So we shall just allow you to enjoy that moment.
So that was point where he normally will sign the Visitors Book of Parliament. We shall also see the procession of the Speaker forming, led by the Sergeant at Arms carrying the ceremonial mace. I'm sure many of you will remember that the mace was handed over to the Speaker. This is a symbol of the authority of Parliament, the authority of the Speaker of Parliament. So His Excellency is appending his signature to the Visitors Book as a show that he is physically present here in Kololo when we have, once again, the three arms of government coming together. So shortly, the procession of the Speaker will be formed, led of course by the Sergeant at Arms carrying the mace of Parliament. And then we shall go into the formal agenda for the day, which is the order paper. We shall ask that you all remain standing until we have heard the playing of the anthems, the national anthem, followed by the East African anthem, and then prayers. And thereafter, once you have taken your seats, we shall have a proclamation by the Right Honourable Speaker declaring these grounds as Parliament for purposes of our meeting today and making it legal for Parliament to receive an address by His Excellency the President on the state of the nation, as is stated in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 1011, that mandates His Excellency the President to address Parliament every year. So the procession of the Speaker will now form, and we shall communicate to you once Parliament has ended. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, His Excellency the President and Mr. Speaker,
the anthems.
Almighty God, who in your infinity wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor these your servants, whom you've been priest called to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, so as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you've committed to their charge. Amen.
Proclamation by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament.
Whereas under Article 101, Clause 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda is mandated at the beginning of each session of Parliament to deliver to Parliament an address on the state of the nation, aware that His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda has, in accordance with Article 1011, indicated to the Speaker of Parliament his intention to address Parliament on the state of the nation on Thursday, 4th June 2026. Now, therefore, in accordance with Rule 18.1 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I hereby proclaim, 1, that Parliament shall sit at Kololo ceremonial grounds on Thursday, 4th June 2026 at 1400 hours to receive the address of His Excellency, the President, on the state of the nation, and 2, the Kololo ceremonial grounds to be the precincts of Parliament for the above-mentioned purpose, given under my hand at Parliament House, Kampala, this first day of June 2026.
Communication from the Chair.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Her Excellency, the Vice President, Major Retired Alupo Jessica Ipel, His Lordship, the Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. Flavian Seja, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business in Parliament, Robin Nabanja, the Right Honorable Leader of the Opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, Cabinet Ministers and Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this official state opening of the first session of the 12th Parliament of Uganda, during which we will receive the President's address on the state of the nation. Honorable members, the State of the Nation address is a key constitutional address pursuant to Article 1011 of the 1995 Constitution, delivered by His Excellency the President to Parliament to outline the government's achievements over the past financial year, address pressing national challenges, and lay out government's legislative agenda for the upcoming session of Parliament. I take this momentous occasion to formally congratulate His Excellency the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, upon retaining yet another mandate of the people of Uganda. In the same vein, I congratulate all of you members of the 12th Parliament upon your election. I implore you to bear in mind that an election victory is only the foundation of leadership. What follows is the hefty responsibility of governance, fulfilling campaign promises and ensuring social cohesion. Your Excellency, on behalf of the 12th Parliament and on my own behalf, we affirm our solid commitment to the realization of the government's tenfold growth strategy, our national economic blueprint designed to expand the country's GDP from roughly $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040. Honorable members, the State of the Nation address, which we eagerly await this afternoon, is particularly historic. It will be the first of 5 annual addresses of its kind by His Excellency the President. That will mark the start of each of the 5 sessions of the tenure of this Parliament. Your Excellency and honorable members, you will note that the physical attendance of this annual occasion has been restricted to only the members of Parliament, as a precautionary measure in response to the prevailing threat of the Ebola disease. Parliament recognizes and appreciates government's swift response in ensuring public health and safety whenever such situation arises. And I want to thank you for your kind attention.
Invitation by the Right Honourable Speaker to His Excellency the President to deliver to Parliament an address on the state of the nation.
Your Excellency the President, Article 1011 of the 1995 Constitution grants you the mandate to deliver to Parliament and to the nation at the beginning of each session of Parliament your address on the state of the nation. The House is greatly honored by your presence this afternoon. Honorable members, as we welcome His Excellency the President, I draw your attention to and urge you to abide by Rule 10 of the Rules of Procedure, which provides in Sub-Rule 4A that the President, while occupying the chair of state, may make a presidential statement which shall be heard in silence and not followed by any comment or question. I now take my maiden and singular honor and privilege to invite you, Your Excellency, to address the nation. Your Excellency, you are most welcome.
Her Excellency the Vice President of Uganda, Her Excellency the Vice President of Uganda, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, and all the other leaders and fellow Ugandans. I'm again very happy to address you on this occasion of the State of the Nation Address for the year 2026. First of all, I thank and congratulate all the Ugandans for having participated in the series of elections ever since the 15th of January 2026. And for massively supporting the NRM. Thank you so much, Ugandans. Above all, I thank God for all these victories and for the peace in the country in spite of so many evil people that have been plotting to disturb the peace. During the presidential address, during the presidential inauguration, I put forward a call of no more sleep. Some people are already distorting it as just no sleep. It is not just no sleep, it is no more sleep. And to clarify the message, I should add no more corruption, obscurzy, no more kongora, leaning on your hole when others are digging. That's called a kongora in our language. No more kugumaza, kuzya, diverting somebody's attention from the real target to a wrong target. No more to hinder, overburden us when we work and we are just sitting down. And no more politeness to non-performers who want leadership for their own ego and personal interests. This is the Kisanja, no sleep. The story of the NRM and Uganda starts in the early 1960s. Personally, I started waking up our people in 1959 when I visited Mbara Stock Farm as a junior secondary 1 pupil at Mbara High School. Having come from the Ntungamo area that was democratically outside the money economy, and everybody was on Okora Ichida Chonka, working only for the stomach, subsistence. Combined with the school education, when we came to know about the enclosure movement in the UK, Oksiba Sengenge for agriculture, the Industrial Revolution in Europe, etc. By 1965, the sectarian politics of the political groups notwithstanding, our ideas about the socio-economic transformation had coalesced. It was clear that the small enclave economy of the British, of the 3 C's and 3 T's, was a disaster for the majority of the people. You want proof? Just look at the infant mortality rate in 1962 and the average life expectancy in 1962. There were 128 per 1,000 live births, and life expectancy was 46.8 for everybody on the average. We soon grasped the importance of having vertically integrated and horizontally integrated national economies. In the 20 years of chaos between 1966 and 1986, our views were eventually crystallized into the 10 points program of Kanyara. Kanyara was where we wrote this document in 1984. Point number 5 of those 10 points run as follows, in quotes: building an independent, integrated, self-sustaining national economy. However, for the people to participate in the vertical and horizontal integration of the economy of the country, they had to join the money economy first and move out of the traditional pre-capitalist economy of working for a chida chonka, working only for the stomach, just subsistence. Since my nomadic family, because my family was nomadic, since my nomadic family had migrated from Ntungamo to Nyabushozi, it was the good luck of Nyabushozi that we started our activities there. These activities involved sensitizing the population of the cattle corridor to stop nomadism, make enclosures around their land, Sengenge, engage in commercial agriculture with the Chivaro, Chura, Aymar, calculation for profit and maximum returns. You can see in the videos, let them show us some of the families we started with if they are there on the videos, their testimony.
Amazina gange Esther Magaga witu nahan baheta Gwengwe Nshwiringi hampa tukejeho gwankaga n'etaano hampa eryensi kwonka bakandi bagyeta empango ekaeri empango nense etaine ebihingi etaine ente etaine eky'eryemburare ry'ekishaka twatahomu kutwabere turi omuntu turiisa turi nkoku twatari nk'abakaramoja mbwenu President aije omu ariho omusenia ya mukaaga yatayayo mu maka gaitu tukugira ngu akaturagira ngu naragira akari omwana w'ishomero tukantumukiza n'emyaka namwe nanye ninje mukiza obundi aha ninje mukiza tukantumukiza emyaka akatushomesa ari omwana yatushomesa okutuura okuhinga okwombeka amaju gatakugira ngu n'amabaati agagu twayombekire bwanyuma g'ebihome okuba abatuuzi omunsi okurera kuzengerera okurera kutaasya kutwabanda nambwenu nkaitwe nkanya nkenjo yange ekeha kyekutaasya kanyabihara konka yatutanga yatwegesa ebintu birungi yatwegesa okushitama yatwegesa okutuura yatwegesa twaba abantu mbwenu kuko abantu abari kumanya bukuru ko babaire bari itwe tukatari nk'abakaramoja kandi nakigamba ama tukatari nk'abakaramoja aho kabakaramoja bakabatura nibafuruka nambwenu nabo mpurira ngu abegesa abandi akabareta mpani mpurira nabo nibagambe orurimi rw'abantu nuwe yatishikiza n'okuturi kushoku n'okutwima emikono nuwe ataine kakwate nangu n'okuba omuntu nakwe tukantumukiza emyaka itwe tukantumukiza emyaka hari hati nangu nimukira n'ubundi hampa hati kuyahereze kutwegesa ebintu ebyo kutwayega kutwayombeka amaju g'ebihome kutwaba abatuuze kutwarera kufuruka kutwahinga yagira omu kishaka yayongeraho ekyakabiri yayongeraho twatunga enjungu yayongeraho obwenge bw'okugemura
ntukama rita bishatu buri izooba ritemwe negura shiringi 90 kurukubazamu buri izooba n'emitwaro 28 kukubazamu mu kwezi nizo miliyoni 8 n'esente zikushagamu
yayongeraho twayombeka amaka marungi nambwe n'ekyanga kitu ekyo n'ekindi kuheraho ahakanisa yitu erigarukira hindugarukira n'ahandi ahindi arabira obumbaire nyina amaani omutambana icyanga kitu kurugaha kuhikarishira kutahindugarukira tarobana ku ngo abana bana bateze empicengaro tubariho notimbareba kandi kangenda ebyo byona nuyabyegisa ihanga iri turumwe iri turukuzanira mu iri haje amasomo nkanye kutera isomo n'emyaka yanjye.
So there you have the testimony of some of the families we started with in 1966, end of year. That old lady was speaking in Nyankore, and she said that when we came to teach them in 1966, we were students having finished A-level. Told them to stop. She was saying that they were like the Karamojong at Katun Kaba Koromoishu, nomadic. And if you read our booklets, if you are polite, if you if you can make yourself a bit humble to learn from smaller people like us, then you will see how we argued with those traditional people to stop from nomadism, stop nomadism, and have settled agriculture, grow crops, and so on. Now, she was saying that because of the insecurity, we had to go away to fight. But when we came back, 1986, we added the issue of going now, not only just being settled, but being settled and also doing commercial agriculture with the Chivaro. That's why we advise them to go into dairy farming, because dairy farming was more for smallholders and medium people. It was better than beef ranching. Beef ranching needs more land. Now, that model, which started in the Nyabushozi area, has spread to the whole cattle corridor south of the Nile. There's a man called Matongo in the Ngoma area. Let's see what he says.
Amazina ninje George Matongo wa Ngoma Ngoma buntu hano gwatakashozi n'undi kutaha umurimo gwanjye ndi muri isa nteze umujya kureba nuko itandikira tatakanda gente bakubya talo bo hagwa kidana Meirisa zakanya nagura amataka nyuse nazo zankorera ibintu kwenda zashubitiza abana bihereze naturuho kabanza mu Nyankore naje nahindura kumwata ngo njungu nuko zahanyiranye nazitunga atuzungu zo nisumute.
On our farm, we collect over 900 liters of milk per day, and a liter costs 800 shillings, which is approximately 21 million per month.
So now this is now another side of the cattle corridor, Ngoma, Nagaseke district. But the cattle corridor is continuous from the border with Tanzania in Isingiro all the way up to northern Uganda. But much of the work we have done so far was in the south of the Nile, from River Kagera up to Chiriandongo. They have all changed. Now that man is in Goma area. The infrastructure is not so good, but you can see they are having a lot of money. That particular one is selling 900 liters of milk per day. The price is low, it's not high, but they still get 21 million shillings a month. You can see that girl there, she's educated because of the money which the parents have to pay for her in the schools. And they have moved from the other small houses which the old lady was showing you to now permanent buildings to live a better life. Now that is the testimony from the cattle corridor. That's why this time really I am no longer interested in non-performers. Between 1986 and 1989, we campaigned for prioritizing the enterprise of dairy farming for the small and medium farmers, while the big players could continue with the ranching for beef. By 1995, the cattle corridor had started changing. People get income per month from the milk, building better houses, paying school fees for children in paying schools. Indeed, our late Magaga is the husband of the other lady who you saw, and father of Lieutenant General Kabuga. Is here? Is he here? He's a big general now. Oh, you can see how big he is. There he is. Now, their family with the wife and the husband who died. Indeed, our late comrade Magaga, the father of Kavuma, came to me and told me that he did not know what to do with the money. When they started getting money from the milk, he couldn't believe it. He came to me. You people really, once you say you are a leader, you are putting a problem on yourself. If you don't become a real leader, God will not like you. I can assure you of this. Either you lead or you stay in your home. Don't try to be a leader when you are not, when you don't care about the people. So Magaga came and said, a citizen should be realized. Because the milk people are paid every 15 days. They are paid. And this had never happened in Magaga's life. She had never seen it. That a villager is being paid every 15 days, being paid money. Being paid every 15 days. Nka Omshara. That's what he told me. As if I am working in a government office and being paid a salary. That was the tragedy of Uganda at that time. Only the civil colonial servants could get regular income. This change in the cattle corridor by the traditional families of Abatar Soma, because these people had never gone to school. Magaga had never gone to school. His wife had never gone to school. To change Abatar Soma, the ones who never went to school, was engineered by us, was against the advice of the professionals. Professionals did not believe we could change these people. They would tell me, you are wasting your time. Those Banyankore cannot change. They were all saying to a man that the Banyankore could not change from their pre-capitalist lifestyle to a money economy. Moreover, when we were doing this, nobody among the colonial elite would agree to support us. It is only Mzee Byanyima who gave us 20 shillings. With my colleague Mwesugwa Black, who died in 1972 in our wars, we used, the only person who helped us gave us 20 shillings. That's about $3. Just short of $3. Because a dollar that time was 7 shillings, a dollar. So $3 would be 21 shillings. So when we went to say we are going to mobilize the Banyankore to stop nomadism, other people refused to help us. Mzee gave us 20 shillings. With my colleague Mwesugwa Black, who died in 1972 in our wars, we used 7 shillings per person to use Mongonya's bus from Baraturushere through Ruhumba. That was 14 shillings. So out of our 20, we used 14 to come from Baraturushere. 2 of us, each one 7 shillings. Mwesugwa was a smoker. So he took away shillings 120 to buy a packet of Sportsman. That left us with 4 shillings 80 cents. After holding public meetings at Rushere, we used the Bazarona bus to a place called Katongore, each using shillings 1 shilling and 20 cents. That is 2 shillings and 40 cents. In the Katongore area, we started moving on foot up to near Nama, where we spent the night leaning against the harvested millet. When we spent one of the nights, we spent it leaning against the millet of one of the peasants called Chankuru. Millet is very comfortable when it is not threshed when it is in the shifts. After addressing a public meeting at Nama, the group gave us bicycle rides to Mzee Bitasene's place near Wamasha Dam. Moving on foot, we addressed meetings, including a mega one at where there is Karo Secondary School now. You should have seen the grandfathers and other adults listening to these young people. I was just 22 years old that time, and Mwesugo was just slightly older than me. Thereafter, we moved on foot out of Mzee Tanyoka's home that we had made our camp and spent the night at Rushere with Mzee Mhinga. Thereafter, our remaining 2 shillings and 40 cents could only take us up to Nyakasharara. And from there, we walked on foot all the way to Mbarara, spending the night at my kurar in Akairungu near Biharu Mbarara area. It was now 1967, January, and it was time to take up our temporary teaching jobs and get our own money to easily support our voluntary struggle for our people. Therefore, when I hear leaders talking of allowances to reach their people and get them out of poverty, I almost get nausea. I feel like vomiting. If you don't know, when I look at you, the way you do things, I really feel very not pleased, but out of politeness, I've been keeping quiet. But now I'm telling you. Even those who get government allowances do not go to the field. I hear that many just stay in Kampala. Another mistake is for leaders to give personal money to constituents. As you can see here, we had no money to give to anybody. The only money we had, even when we started getting our own salaries, was for bus transport. Most of the time, I would ride the bicycle from Kazo to Burunga, from Burunga to Rwakitura and back. The only fuel I needed was no fat on my body. So now you hear a problem. Murka Chief needs a motorcycle. Motorcycle for what? Let the Murka Chief ride a bicycle. I'm really sick and tired of that parasitism. And that's why I told you that this is Iksanja, no more sleep. Because I've been polite, talking, thinking that people will learn by example. No. This is the time to talk straight to everybody. Why should the Muruka Chief have a motorcycle, fuel, money? Let him use a bicycle. It is better for him. He will live longer if he rides a bicycle. Even a Gombara chief, the Gombara is not so big. Why should we have fuel, all that? Work can't be done because there's no money for fuel. The only fuel I needed was no fat on my body. We would share food and accommodation with our hosts, the population. God has kept me here, and I'm now 82 years old, almost, not exactly, but almost. In spite of the efforts we expended in the resistance, the most important contribution to the people of the Cattle Corridor was the diagnosis of their problems and the prescriptions we offered. Because these people had no money to give them. The only thing we gave them was a correct analysis, diagnosis, and a prescription. They were enough to arouse their enthusiasm and expectations. That was the reason they massively joined the young party we formed in 1980, known as UPM, after the parties were again allowed to exist. No money given to them, but accurate analysis and prescription that was a projected solution. And also reaching them. You can imagine a 22-year-old children calling adults, grandfathers, and they come to these meetings. By 1986, the production of milk in Uganda was 200 million liters per annum. It is now 5.4 billion liters, saving Uganda US dollars 1.56 billion of imports and earning US dollars 285 million in export earnings. So this work we did not only help these cattle raising families, but saved Uganda the import bill of $1.56 billion. If we were importing all this milk, Uganda would be spending $1.56 billion. Additionally, Uganda is earning now $285 million in export earnings. Uganda used to import tinned condensed milk from as far away as New Zealand, packed pepper milk from Kenya, butter, cheese, yogurt, powdered milk, etc. from Denmark, etc. Uganda now is a big exporter of all those products. That is our work. The people in the cattle corridor need to deepen their work by going away from Oxetura, free range, to growing pasture and indoor feeding of cattle, goats, and sheep. The only people who indirectly helped us in this were the late King Gasionga and some community leaders like Eliazar Bitembe, who had mobilized the Banyankore to come back from where they had been dispersed by the spread of the tsetse flies following the invasion of tsetse flies from Karagwe, Tanzania in 1918 and after. To be saluted in particular is President Eisenhower of the United States, who deployed USAID to spray against the tsetse flies in 1958 using a chemical known as diedrine. When President Clinton visited us in March 1998, I wanted him to visit the cattle corridor and see the outcomes of the good the USAID had done. However, his people preferred to take him to Mukono to see pancakes. So I wanted him to go and see this work, but his people said, no, you go to Mukono and see pancakes. So they went to see pancakes. Even me, I went with them. Ever since the coming into power of the NRM, we have eradicated the tsetse flies in Ichiboga, Ngoma, Busoga, Lango, etc. With the shift from Kusetura, free range, to indoor feeding of the dairy and beef cattle, and stopping the primitive practice of property fragmentation after the death of the head of the family, Uganda will overtake countries like the Netherlands, Australia, Argentina in production levels of dairy products, beef, leather, etc. After this success, I started inviting delegations of leaders from other parts of Uganda to visit and learn. This is where the question of no more sleep, no more kukongora, no more kugumaza, no more kuhenda, no more politeness to non-performers comes in. Because I would invite leaders, come please and see. This area was like this. We have now moved it, it's moving like this. And they would visit. My expectation was that they would go and try to do the same in all our areas in Uganda. The Count of Nyabushozi each day delivers to the factories and milk coolers 1.15 million liters of milk per day. That's county alone. There are 115 milk coolers in Nyabushozi alone, mainly private. And there are now 160 milk and milk products factories in the whole of Uganda. Having succeeded in the Nyabushozi-Kazo area, and having been inviting delegations after delegations in 1995, I made a countrywide tour on exactly this point. I studied the whole country, and I recommended the two modes of agriculture. intensive agriculture for people with small pieces of land, and extensive agriculture for people with big pieces of land. In the 1996 manifesto, we reduced it into the 4 acres model with 7 activities for intensive farming and for other products for the plantations and the big farmers with big pieces of land. With 4 acres or less, you could engage in zero grazing for 1 acre of pasture with 8 Frisian cattle, 1 acre of coffee, 1 acre of fruits, 1 acre of food for the family, poultry for eggs and piggery in the backyard, and fish farming near the wetlands. With large farming,
best deals in Uganda, just one up I found. Hey. Click to me, bring it to my door. Everything I wanted, and a little bit more. To me.
You write the words. What if you could hear them as a song? Go to Suno.com, switch to custom mode, and paste in your lyrics. Then describe the sound. I'll go with soulful R&B ballad, emotional vocals, piano driven. Hit create. Suno turns your writing into 2 fully produced songs. Your words sung back to you with real production behind them. Now shape it. Remix to hear your lyrics in a completely different genre. Rewrite sections to tighten the phrasing. Extend to build the full track. You can also use Suno to face writer's block head on. Create new lyrical ideas and flourishes that you can then reinsert to complete your composition. Your lyrics fully produced from a paste and a prompt. See what your words can become. Subscribe at Suno.com.
Shopify is a platform that helps entrepreneurs get started down the path they want. Sometimes starting a business can be scary. I feel like I lost a little piece of my soul. Like getting covered in spiders or being buried alive. But Shopify is here to help. If I hadn't started my own business, I wouldn't have been able to go to all the crazy places like Antarctica and make videos like these for you guys. And just like millions of other people have done with Shopify, you can get started today on your business right now. Go to Shopify.com and start your free trial today.
to inagafumba.
You got Glovo.
Oinacheweta gamukataleto fayo.
You got Glovo.
You can order what you want. You can get what you need.
You got Glovo.
You got it all. Order Glovo and receive it in minutes.
Wait, are you still paying school fees and not winning? Welcome to Season 5 of our Back to School campaign with up to 120 million Ugandan shillings up for grabs. All you have to do is use the My Airtel app or dial *185*6# to pay school fees. We are rewarding 100 winners every week with 300,000 Ugandan shillings each. And hey, using the My Airtel app gives you more chances of winning. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Winners will be contacted on 0200 100 100.
Every day we pay 300K we pay.
Are you looking for a quality, affordable, and convenience all-in-one shopping experience in Arua City? Look no further. Get all your shopping done at Esomart Hypermarket. We are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, 24/7. Esomat Hypermarket, conveniently located in the heart of Arua City on Central Road, Plot 5 off Transport Road. Everything you need under one roof with friendly service you can rely on, from fresh groceries and food items to household essentials, electronics, beverages, wines, and much more. Enjoy quality products, friendly service, and a comfortable shopping experience. Anytime you need to shop, day or night, Esomat Hypermarket is always open. Esomat Hypermarket, smart shopping starts here. For more information, please call 0774 752544.
I've been selling locally. I've been selling 1 at 5 Museveni. Coming up with the idea of invest money, not mangoes. Money, not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much. No. Not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much.
Now here you have got this.
Not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much.
Now here you have got this.
So I want to thank our president so much.
Now here you have got this man.
Money, not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much.
Now,
not mangoes. So I want to thank our president so much.
Now here you have got this.
So I want to thank our president so much.
Now here you have got this man from Abim saying that. Now here you have got this man from Abim saying that I'm not going to suffer. I'm not going to suffer. The government has put a total of Ugandan shillings. I'm not going to suffer. The government has put a total of Ugandan shillings. They didn't have the indigenous, because for them they had indigenous cows. They converted them and they got capital, many of them. But in other areas, it was not so easy. So that's why we started with the Ntandikwa and NADS and Operational Wealth Creation, and now PDM. But this is for the smaller people. The question is now, how about the big farmers and the manufacturers? Yes, we have not forgotten those. With the big farmers and the manufacturers, the government has put a total of Uganda shillings 1,600 billion in the UDB. The interest rate for that money is 12% per annum. The interest rate for PDM is 6% per annum and payable after 2 years. Hence, for shillings 1 million, the borrower will return shillings 1.2 million for PDM. We are always creating other funds for the ghettos, for the musicians, etc. So capital is not a problem. Unlike the colonial agents who never want to plan for Africa, we have told Ugandans that our economy has got potential in 4 sectors. Services, commercial agriculture, manufacturing, and ICT. The president is here. Parliament is here. Once people have woken up from sleep and they want low-cost capital, if the shilling is 100 million per parish per annum or any other fund is not enough, we can increase the money by adjusting from other areas. With the cattle corridor, we did not wait for low-interest capital. As already said, our only contribution to them was the word In the cattle corridor, the work there was a Chigambo, like the one with the Bible. In the beginning, there was the word. The word was God. There we just use the word. In the other areas, we use the word and the capital is there. Small capital for small things, big capital for big things. The advice was to go from nomadism to sedentary agriculture, to go from Okole Chidachonka to working for the stomach and for the pocket, and do so with the Chibaro. Additionally, in the cattle corridor, I gave 20 milk coolers that had been brought by Danida. That was all. They converted their indigenous Ankole cattle in half breeds, Ebiwa with Frisians, and they took off. However, wealth creation cannot take place if there is no peace, no law and order, and supportive infrastructure in the country. The UPDF always guarantees peace in the country. The police and judiciary must ensure law and order. The NRM has struggled to tarmac, so with infrastructure, our scorecard is clear and must not be allowed to be spoiled. The NRM has struggled to tarmac the core national Aru, Nimure, and Musingo in the north. These are all linked by tarmac roads. Then the tarmac roads continuous from the north through the Kampala area to Kachitumba, Katuna, Chanka, and Bunagana in the south. The mistake has been by the Ministry of Works to allow these roads to deteriorate, and then we start to doing heavy work afterwards. The new ministers must ensure. I don't want to see what happened to some of the roads like the Fort Portal Road. But there is a story about that Fort Portal Road. There is a story of corruption in that road. I hope the new team will deal with that issue. We have tarmacked the road from east to west, from Busia, Ruahaha, Swam, Amudat, all the way to Mpondwe, Busunga, and Ishasha in the west. This does not include the tarmac roads linking to the water bodies that are also transport connections, such as Jinja. Because when you have the tarmac road up to Jinja, you go into the water, you cross by ferry to Mwanza, to Kisumu, wherever you want to go. Majanji, Port Bell, Butiaba, Kaisotonya, Bukakata, there are tarmac roads going up to these water bodies. We are revamping the meter gauge railway and building the standard gauge one. We are working with Kenya and Tanzania on the pipelines for the crude petroleum products and for the refined petroleum products. This will move cargo, heavy cargo, away from the roads to the railway, and petroleum products from the roads to the pipeline. In the coming years, you will no longer see tankers on the road, petrol tankers. They should not be on the road. That leaves the roads for only passengers and light cargo. The Maram roads must be maintained always. Where the 3 billion shillings per district, which we send, cham, they just eat it. If it is not enough, why not bring up the matter? You, the members of parliament, if you think that the 3 billion per district is not enough, bring it up. And we cut money from somewhere and we make sure the roads are worked on. Instead of just keeping quiet, and you find the Maram Road from Lira to my village in Barregi. It was terrible. It was very bad. It had not been maintained for a long time. Therefore, the NRM has identified all the requirements for building a prosperous Uganda. The NRM has also provided for the means for individuals, families, or companies that want to be part of the socio-economic transformation story. As I've said before, our mission has been to ensure that the individuals, the families, or the companies that listen to our message are assisted to be wealth and jobs creators. Right from the beginning, we realize that the internal factors are crucial, but not enough to ensure the socio-economic transformation of Uganda. We need to answer the question, in quotes, if the individuals, families, or companies create wealth and produce products and services in 4 sectors of commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services, and ICT, is the internal market enough? Is the internal market enough of these African countries? Our answer was no. The internal market cannot be enough. Indeed, if the internal markets were enough, why would a country like China, people, or India, with 1.4 billion people, be looking for external markets? Hence, ever since the 1960s, we have been having a Pan-African agenda on top of the patriotic agenda within Uganda. The Pan-African agenda was aimed at the economic integration of the whole of Africa in a continental market and for the political integration within East Africa, leading to the political federation of East Africa. The economic integration would deal with the prosperity of the African people, while the political integration of the parts of Africa that are compatible would deal with the strategic security of Africa, especially defense on land, in the air, at sea, and in space. Therefore, for the wealth creators of Uganda, most of the factors are in place now. That is why we are now saying no more sleep, no more kukongora, leaning on your hoe while others are working. No more kugumaza, diverting people's attention. No more corruption. And no more politeness to non-performers who want leadership for ego and personal interests. We must ensure that enjuku unju, house to house, ought be ought in our Luo language. Ensure that enjuku unju, for the families with the land, they get into the money economy with the chibaro. The ones without land, their solution is the myoga, skills. Indeed, we also need to know that with increasing population, it will be neither possible nor necessary for everybody to have land. That is why there are other sectors, manufacturing, artisanship, services, ICT, e.g. transport, entertainment, ICT, e.g. BPOs. In the developed countries, very few people own land. I saw in the Negative Monitor newspaper an article by an individual known as Gawaya Tegure, who is always writing mendaciously and maliciously, saying that Uganda has been wandering in the desert for 40 years, like the children of Israel. Those who are wandering in the desert are partly those who listen to those liars. If you listen to the liars, you will wander in the desert. It is true that many of the leaders do not amplify this message of how people can get out of poverty. However, those who do change their lives. I understand Gawaya comes from Bugwere area. Let him visit Mama Nabutono and her husband, Obuko Diseru Kasasera Ward, Kasasera Town Council. Let's see Mama Nabutono if you have her.
amalina gange ninze Loda Benedict Bakulubanywa nga nzwera mu zone gye beeta Bukooda parish bageta Kasasira Ward, Kasasira Town Council, Kibuku County, Kibuku District. Tandikira ka project ka isuno mkyala wange Nautono Florence kakulisha embizi mu mwaka 1993. Embizi gendwalishanga gino ejja bulijjo local breed. Tugirisire mpola nenge ndishera atini ya mulembe tugirisha isubi tugirisha ku muwogo na maolu. Program ya PDM ya izire akati ao tubaina aba advisor aba external field extension workers ngani omwamubola yalambulanga aka project gaiseke embizi atwangu magezi nte project eno mujongere magezi umaiseyo mufuneke embizi ejja mulembe.
Nafunire esente ja palisi modo mbanka na emtwale 98 nagise na gyongeiro omukapito yange nkaire embizi gide jaloko ni ngule embizi abirira nigivyala omumbizi ejo eja byaire nintunda bana ni kobanti tinakomano ningulamu esekoko jona ndikulisya esente gindi ninkozesa efizi okubana.
You know, when they are speaking, Uruguay, they speak Nyankore in their own way, but I can for everything. So they had some local pigs before, but when PDM came, they bought the modern ones. The Uruguay, they speak Nyankore, also mix it with the Nyarwanda. Kuvyara is Nyarwanda or what? No, Nyarwanda is a bit different. So now they have pigs. They have also Sekoko. I didn't know anything about Sekoko myself. They're the ones who exposed me. So once the people get capital, they will do their own things, like Nabutono there. Uganda has gone through 5 phases of positive development. These are the recovery phase of the colonial enclave economy and ending the informalization of the economy into Magendo, Chibanda, and Okusamala. That was smuggling, forex black market, and speculation, following the destruction of the economy by Idi Amin. Expanding the enclave economy, diversifying it. That is how the dairy sector changed the cattle corridor, and the cassava is changing in many parts of Uganda. These are totally new cash products. Very addition to some of the raw materials, e.g. gold, and the knowledge economy of the automobiles, vaccines, computers, etc. What is high sounding sloganeering there? Because that's what the other gentleman was saying, that's just slogans. These are achievements on the ground. Let's go to nearby Mbari Industrial Park. Show us the industrial park. Mbari. How can you call that a slogan? Is that a slogan? That is sloganeering. I think now they were saying there were like more than 80 factories there, 12,000 workers in that area. These are achievements on the ground. Let Gawaya go to nearby Mbari Industrial Park. How can such a park be a desert where there is no water or peace or production? Yes, there are problems of the issues like drugs in health centers. That is why, another time I will talk more about this, the issue of service delivery. That is why the NRM introduced democracy from the very beginning by getting people to elect the committees of the resistance councils. Especially in the Buked area, FOBA, the group of who are saying they were following Obote, started killing those elected leaders until we crushed FOBA. Elect people who help in exposing those mistakes. You have the power. Another time I'll speak about that, because the parishes are in Uganda, and everywhere there is local leadership, especially at the sub-county, and there are councillors. Why should things go wrong when all those leaders are there? Of course, even the government is also responsible, because they are the GISOs in every sub-county. Why would things go wrong and the GISO doesn't know? And the DISO. The facts of the matter are that with the limited waking up, where 67% of the homesteads as compared to 9%, because in 1962, only 9% of the people were in the money economy. Only 9%. When I checked in 2013, only 32% were in the money economy. But as we speak now, 67% of the homesteads are in the money economy. And Uganda has graduated from the least developed countries to a lower middle income country. Our GDP rose from 3.9 billion in 1986 to now 69.3 billion by forex exchange method and 197.1 billion by the PPP method. The GDP per capita has risen to US dollars 1,278, while the threshold for lower middle income status is $1,136. Household poverty has declined from 56% in 1992 to now 16.1%. Life expectancy was 43 years, 1986. It was 46 in 1992, but it had come down to 43 by 1986 because of the chaos which Amin created. It had come from 43. It is now 68 years. The infant mortality rate was 122 for 1,000 born alive. It is now 36 for 1,000 born alive. In other words, our economy has expanded more than 17 times in the last 40 years of recovery, expansion, diversification, value addition, entering the knowledge economy, and transformation. This year, the economy is projected to grow at 6.4%. And the next year, the GDP will grow by 10%, pushing the size of the economy to US dollars 80 billion. All this is before the start of the flow of our commercial oil. In the last 15 years alone, the country has added 31 new products to the export basket. Uganda now exports manufactured goods, including pharmaceuticals, refined gold, steel, ICT products, ceramics, plastics, the dairy products already talked about. Uganda's exports have reached US$ 18 billion in the 12 months ending in March 2026. The 67% of the people that have listened to our messages and friends from outside that have invested here have turned our economy into a country of surpluses. Milk, 5.4 billion liters from 200 million liters in 1986. Fish, 727,000. Coffee, 9.3 million 60 kilogram bags from 2 million bags in 1986. 76,000 metric tons of cocoa. Cement, from about 5,000 tons to 7 million metric tons of cement. Maize, from 200,000 to 5 million metric tons. Bananas, from 6.6 million to 11 million metric tons. Cassava, from 3.5 million to 4.5 million metric tons. Sugar, from 150,000 to 700,000 metric tons. We are now set for further and faster growth and transformation. With electricity, we have moved from 60 megawatts in 1986 to now 2,098 megawatts. We are, however, aiming at 50,000 megawatts from hydro, solar, gas, wind, nuclear, and geothermal. Therefore, all the leaders must ensure that those programs are downloaded in their respective areas. In the next 5 years, all the households with land must get the low interest capital in the form of PDM. You, the leaders, you must ensure this. You must go up to the parish levels. You may not visit every parish, but you call the parish chiefs at the constituency level and make sure they do their work. If they don't do their work, we shall sack all of them. There's already 557 million in the parish. I was saying 800 million in the other address, but there's now because when the PDM started, initially they sent less than 100 million per year. So they are now saying the money which is in the parish, including the one of payback, is 557 million in the parish. And it has reached 3.7 million households. We are going to put shillings 100 million plus 15 million for the leaders per annum per parish in the rural areas, and shillings 300 million plus 15 million for the leaders per ward in the towns. Uganda shilling 760 billion has gone for the Myoga, operating from the constituency level. Where is that money? How many and which Myoga associations are benefited from this money? There's one of the young people who was involved with the Myoga money. Fortunately, he was elected as a member of parliament for Kasanda area. Bisaso, is Bisaso here? Where is the Bisaso? Oh, I'm not allowed to, because I'm not allowed to speak, to say anything, and the other people are not supposed to stand up or walk or what. Is the Bisaso here? Ah, that's how Bisaso looks like. He knows about Myoga, that man. Thank you. On account of peace, some traders have generated a lot of capital through imports. These are the ones that built Arcade's real estate. There's a young lady called Nanteza that is always showcasing on UBC the different real estate developers. Can we see Nanteza? If you have captured her. She's always showing how rich people are. Let her speak also. Where is she? You have suppressed her. Those are all real estate built by your people. Where is Nantes? You suppressed her. I'm Nantes or Nadako. Because I've been watching her show. Every Sunday she's always showing. So, there is poverty in Uganda, but there's also wealth, because those are Ugandans. Those are Ugandans. A Ugandan returnee from abroad was recently trying to buy a flat in the Kampala area. And they were demanding US dollars 1.2 million. A Ugandan who was come from outside came back. You know, when people are outside, they think that Uganda is in poverty. So this Ugandan came back, was looking for a flat. And the flats were selling at $1.2 million. And as she was trying to mobilize the money, the resident Ugandans had bought all the flats. Only when she came back, they said, sorry, all the flats are sold. She was amazed that me, the diaspora, I don't have money. These Ugandans with the stayees have a lot of money. The middle class is coming up. The question is, what sort of middle class are we witnessing coming up? Are they the comprador bourgeoisie that are agents of foreign interests, or support, or importers, commission agents, etc., or are they the national bourgeoisie that build the capacity of the country through being big or small farmers, manufacturers, service providers, and ICT operators? Let us therefore move. No more sleep, no more Kongora, no more corruption, no more kugumaza, no more politeness towards non-performers. This one, it is actually, I have been polite enough. I don't Kuemura people. All the non-performers must leave leadership. Leadership is not for ego, but for people and country. In agriculture, it is possible to have pan-Ugandan rural transformation. In the Exos area, I have 9 villages with 2,048 homesteads now. As of today, all the 2,048 homesteads have joined the money economy with coffee, bananas, dairy farming, goat rearing, and poultry. Let me see my Exos areas, if you have got some.
Manya gange, Zerule Joni, ni musajja mulimi, nundayo, ni manyo, kusenga ni manye mwanyi, ni makasoli, ebitooke, natandise n'okulima ennyaanya. Naye njala kwebaza nnyo President Museveni kubanga yasanga tetumanyi kyakukola. Kusooka nga ettaka lyaffe lyerisinga obulungi wano mu disitulikiti y'e Gomba. Naye ettaka lyonna nga mbizi za musiko mwe zisula. President bwe yatuweereza batusomesa ne batuyigiriza engeri gy'osobola okulima emmere, bwe twava mu mmere, kati abaasooka okulabuka ate kakati tuli basajja bagagga. So ekitiibwa kyonna kyonna kiriibwa President Museveni. Okusooka byonna President yampa ebitooke nalima yika 5. Ebitooke ebyo nakuŋŋanya $227 mu bitooke. Endala ezaweerera abaana ze nali sizibala, naye buli nafunanga katugeze $1,000,000 nga nteekako emitwalo nga 3 oba 5. Nesevinga $227. Kakati mu season ewedde emmwanyi zokka nga nzigyeko ze nateekamu kubanga nze ebiseera ebisinga sibala zentaddemu saagala kuzibala. Njagala bwe mmala nze njagala okukubuulira ge magoba. Nafuna $15,000,000. Nenyongerako season eyo ey'emmwanyi nenzimba ennyumba yali ya $903,000 nenjizimba. Era naawe weeri nagulawo obuguzi, nagulawo $9,000,000. Waliwo yiika emu n'ekitundu. Nina abaana 6 bonna bali ku ssomero. kati ekyo nakyo magoba nguzeeko ebibanja kubanga fe abalimi obudde bwonabona olowooza mu kulima kati bukaseera wobeera ekifo kiba tekikumala kirala nengulamu motoka nagigula $48,000 ebirala nonzeeko ninayo obute butono ate ninayo n'obubuzi bwange nera nabwo buva mu mwanyi pulezidenti zampadde naye tulina ebitusomooza ekisooka emwanyi zino zirina akawuka sobola okulabako nga bino kubanga abatuyigiriza abalimisa batugamba nti ogenda obinojjola kugeza nga kino kati okalaba kano kati amakungula gaakano gandibadde nga agaakano.
When I first went to Kisozi in 1990, they were all democratically poor. They had no idea of money. I would go very early in the morning to see my cows, and by 9 they would be sitting in the trading centers on the verandas. Muri mutya banange tuli bulungi mukola ki tuli awo. They are just there. They are doing what? Tuli awo. Esente muzijjawa ate munange tuziraba. Money is not seen. Mpozo tuwa akasente. That's what they would do. They would ask me for money. So I really started fighting with those people. So please, donate your own money. Now I'm very glad that initially the homesteads were 1,300, I think. Now they are 2,448. They all are in the money economy. I don't want to be in a parish where there are homes where people are in poverty and they're just contented. I visited a parish in Rubirizi some years ago called Ndangaro. There are 2,500 homesteads. And they were all poor, no money. Very rich area, it's a volcanic area with very, very fertile soil, but the advice what to do. They said, we are all poor here, except one man called Kateva, who had 7 pigs. This is the one who was rich, Kateva. Shana Kateva no mugeiga. Nte ineksh, ainempulu mshanju. Kana ishaka diyo mugeiga, muneshana waka diyo mugeiga, na waka ainempulu mshanju. This is terrible. And you find the leaders, the political leaders, even the church leaders. I started quarreling with the church leaders. I went to Chikoni, in Tungamo. This is what they call Amajesha. Amakungura, they bring it to God. I saw one woman bringing 1 egg. That he's bringing the 1 egg to God. After 1 year. Walking very, 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 very humble as if she's going to heaven that time. This is terrible. You cannot have people like this. Please, honorable members, allow me to show you that woman of Rubirizi again. That God called what? The one of Rubirizi.
Amazina mbanyita Tumusime Dezerata omutuze wa Rubirizi district ate nyimirira ndi omuseri ya Kizurugo nisima president wa Uganda ayatwire PDM nyokuranyine myaka 64 nkatene chinda tungira haka.
Now, that's the statement I want you to capture. That she was 64 years that time, but she had never owned anything in her life. You imagine that. What sort of society? And she has got children. Then what? How would the family be? I showed you the other time appeal. Let's see appeal again. Ovulira.
Anya Piviti, everyone did Nana Lingiri. Lingiri Cell, T Banya Ward, T my town council, T Lira district.
Her name is Apio Vicky, a resident of Lingiri Cell, Banya Ward, Amach Town Council in Lira district.
Agamu Shana PDM, Yari Ariatirwa, Adek.
She got the money for PDM in 2023.
La bong when to me appear a bear and
970,000 and then 30,000 remained in the bank.
At a benopur, Karachel Karinyagi.
She planted maize.
A willow, Nyagi sackets a para bit.
She bought maize 15 sackets.
Well met to me appear a deck we are here.
30,000 each sacket.
At a kill at a poor for American a deck would do for acres a deck.
She used it, actually she planted it in the 3 acres of land. Preparing the garden cost her 150 for the 3 acres. Weeding cost her 50,000. Then spraying cost her 40,000. Time for harvest came.
To quote the story of Apio, she had been married for 20 years. And she has got adult children, like 18 and so on, teenagers. But she had never handled 1 million shillings in her life. She did not have land. When she got land, she didn't even, when she got the 1 million shillings, she didn't have her own land. She had to go and hire 3 acres from somebody else, grow maize, sell the maize, put some of the money back into agriculture, and then buy those sheep, the ones you saw. When I was there in the campaign, she told me she had now 60 sheep. Then I didn't know about sheep. So who buys sheep? She's the one who told me that no, South Sudanese like sheep, they buy. So these people, our people are really clever people. If they are supported, they even know things we don't know. I didn't know sheep. That sheep. Even dreaming in my dream, I can't dream sheep. But for her, she knew that sheep has got a market in South Sudan. Nabutono, I don't know who buys Sekoko. I have no idea. But they know. So what they lack is support. So therefore, I want the Exos model. I don't want to live in a parish where there are poor people. That's what I told them. I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want the angels to block me, say you are an Exosi, you are neighboring poor people, you kept quiet. So I must tell you, I told them. Now you saw the house of Lule. Let's see that man. Show us his house, his coffee. Show us again the man of Exosi. See the house, see the car, the house, car, coffee, that's how they are now. So the leadership is not for ego, but for the people and the country. In agriculture, it is possible to have pan-Ugandan rural transformation. In the Exodus area, I have 9 villages with 2,048 homesteads now. As of today, all the 2,048 homesteads have joined the money economy with coffee, bananas, dairy farming, goat rearing, and poultry. You didn't show my manager of Exozi, Narwanga. Don't you have her picture? I've got a girl whom I educated from P2. She went to Tundeji, now she's the one managing. Narwanga, these people don't like my useful people. Narwanga tebamwagala bano. In the cattle corridor, most of the original families have joined the money economy through the dairy economy. In order to stabilize agriculture, we are addressing the issue of irrigation. Apart from the big irrigation schemes such as Mobuku, Doho, etc., we are developing many micro solar powered irrigation schemes, working with the British group known as Nexus Green. As we speak, they have worked with the government to put solar powered irrigation schemes in Angola, Serere, Bukedea, Amoratar, Kwanya, Apache, Kasanda, Masaka, Mukono. Those are some of the irrigation schemes. In conclusion, however, the two residual problems with the peasantry are, as I pointed out above, some of them still relying on Oxetura, free range, which underutilizes the land. A square mile of well-cleared farm, no bushes, no mtete, no shrubs, no acacia, will cater for 300 longhorn cattle, including the calves. With pasture growing and zero grazing, a square mile will cater for 6,000 cattle. 6,000 cattle can be fed by a square mile of where you grow the pasture. With free range, you need 3 acres for 1 cow. With zero grazing, 1 acre can support 8 Frisian cattle and 12 Ankole ones. We are aggressively sensitizing them on this. The other residual issue is the primitivity of poverty fragmentation in the form of inheritance after the head of the family has died. These recent arrivals from poverty need to be sensitized about family companies instead of individual inheritance. With these measures and those earlier mentioned, we shall have massive production and will also create jobs for hundreds of millions of Ugandans and the Africans from the neighboring countries. All this is before you add manufacturing, services, and ICT. In this speech, I've spent more time on agriculture. It's not because I don't know, I'm not aware of the other sectors. But this is where many of our people can all move more easily. This is why I'm emphasizing it, especially for you, the new members of parliament. Now, in conclusion, the main problem I have seen in all these 65 years when I have been active It has been obutamanya, ignorance, and okwenyoma. Africans underrate themselves. They like what other people do. They don't know how useful what they do is. Our friend Basangwa, show them Basangwa again.
Basangwa Johnson, Managing Director wa Jeka Poultry Farm. Jeka Poultry Farm eyaganibwa Bukwenge, Kamuli Municipality, Kamuli District. Mu 2007 twatandika obulunzi nga tutandikira mu Kamuli Town Council by then mu plot yali 50 feet by 100 feet. There's a foot atano ku 10 eda itaka. Tutandika tutya twali nga tulina ebyobufuzi wano mu Kamuli nga waliwo ensonga nga chairman wero C5 omugenzi Kawuga bamwidukira Katonda mu ekyumulo eky'emirembe nga bamutwoyiremu abantu bangi abatamu application nga bali kwenda okufuuka ba chairman ba 5. Aye president yaida yatulungamya yakoba ati bana abantu mwena mwena temusobola kuba ba chairman ba 5. Aye abantu mujje mukola emirimu egindi ng'okulunda yayogera kulunda embidi okulunda enkoko byonna yabyogeraku. Nze napikinga mu ekyokulunda enkoko n'atandika efaamu mu 2007 n'enkoko 5. Sawa dino wendogerera ku faamu kuno tize mabega ntambwire. President yaida yankyalira mu 2010 nga ndina enkoko 5,000 yasanuka ino. Sawa dino tutambwire tulina enkoko 1,000 tufulumya amagi etule 2,000 buli lunaku. Etule 2,000 divaamu milioni 2 buli lunaku. Omwezi diba milioni 6. Omwaka tuba tuli mu bilioni ze 6 n'ekitundu etuba tukolaki tuyingiza. So tuwulirisa omulamwa gwa president okuva ku kiseera ekyo twakati katukigiireku. President awaire musanufu ino ku bintu byenkoze era nga buli kaseera nkyekingaku. Wendogerera kati tulina abakozi 300.
Now, that is the story of Basangwa, how he listened to my message in 2007 and started with a small plot for poultry and eggs. He's now selling 2,000 trays per day, earning 20 million shillings a day. Now, during the campaign or one of those times, I was showing these pictures, these videos. People in the UK, Ugandans in diaspora, were watching. They watch, even the ones who are in the diaspora. So when they saw me showing Basangwa earning 20 million shillings a day, they say, Museveni alimba. Museveni is telling lies. How can anybody in Uganda earn 20 million shillings a day? Let's go and see. People came from UK to come and see. They say this picture which Museveni showed was taken somewhere else. It's not in Uganda. So they came. Ugandans from UK, they came to check the lie of Museveni. How can Ugandans earn 20 million shillings a day? How can somebody earn 20 million shillings a day? So they came and they visited Basangwa. They were shocked to know that what I was saying was actually true. Now, they have actually invited Basangwa to go and become a lecturer there in the diaspora, to go and visit them. He came and told me, they have invited me, the diaspora have invited me. They didn't believe. This is where the problem is. And when we were talking about these things at Ntare in the school in the 1960s, they said, Museveni is a communist. He's not. They didn't believe. They didn't believe that Ankole cattle were useful. They were teaching in the school that Ankole cows are neither good for meat nor for milk. Really? But I grew with the cows. I said, go to hell. I will never live with the Ankole cows. You want to see them, you show them my cows. Mazreva. How can people? Now these are the most precious cows. The other day Ramaphosa sold one of our cows for 200 million shillings, 187 million. So this is what I have seen. I think the main problem is ignorance and okwenyoma, not having confidence in oneself. I think this is really the main problem. To find people going to work in Dubai, what are you going to do in Dubai? A desert. Dubai. What are you going to do in Dubai? When I go there, I pray that I come back quickly. The temple, the climate, the what. You live paradise here. This is paradise. You go to work in those places. It is inferiority complex, ignorance, poor leadership, uprooted. People have no roots. I am rooted here. My roots are here. There is nothing I don't know. I grew with our culture. I'm able to know what should be forgotten because it was not scientific enough, but much of it is correct and can be updated. So with these few words, I present the government's legislative program to the Parliament. It is in Annex 1 here, no, Annex 2. There are so many bills which Prime Minister will present to Parliament, the ministers will present the bill for building substances, the small arms, light weapons control, amendment of universities and other tertiary institutions, and there are so many of them here. The laws I will present, my ministers will present to Parliament. There are so many. 38 of them, 38 bills which will be presented. Right Honorable Speaker, I present.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Please accept our appreciation for your clear and concise exposition of government policy in your address on the state of the nation. The government's legislative agenda, as contained in your address, will be prioritized pursuant to Rule 26(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, as and when the front bench introduces them. And I think the Right Honourable Prime Minister, in our first business committee meeting, you will ably do that. Honourable members, today's address by His Excellency will not elicit any comment or question, as per Rule 10, Sub-Rule 4A of the Rules of Procedure. However, at a later date during the session, in consultation with the Business Committee, debate on the President's address on the state of the nation will be scheduled in line with Rule 26(1) of the Rules of Procedure. Honourable members, as you may already be aware, on Thursday, 11th of June, 2026, His Excellency the President will deliver the budget speech pursuant to Article 1551 of the Constitution. I therefore urge you all to accordingly take note, and it will take place right here in Kololo ceremony. And I once again want to thank you, Your Excellency, and all dignitaries and invited guests for gracing this function. And my appeal to you all honorable members of the 12th Parliament, let's stand to be counted to be the members of Parliament who will sleep no more, to be the members of Parliament who will be remembered for waking up ourselves and waking up our people towards the money economy. We should resolve today to be the generational leaders who do not only listen, but also act on the guidance of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. May God bless you all. Thank you for your kind attention.
The anthems.
Sixth State of Nation address, and His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has put everything in black and white. As we wait for the departure of the head of state and in protocol formation, the Speaker, the Chief Justice and the Deputy Speaker and the Vice President will also be leaving. We want to thank you, and really we are very honored that you have been part of this broadcast. The President has put everything in black and white, mainly to the leaders.
This has gone to 11th of June, Thursday at 2 p.m. here in Colorado grounds, when we will receive the budget speech.
A very much important announcement by the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Jacob Maxson Soboth. He has invited members of the 12th Parliament back to this same place on the 11th of June.
Are you looking looking for a quality, affordable, and convenience all-in-one shopping experience in Arua City? Look no further. Get all your shopping done at Esomat Hypermarket. We are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, 24/7. Esomat Hypermarket, conveniently located in the heart of Arua City on Central Road, Plot 5 off Transport Road. Everything you need under one roof with friendly service you can rely on, from fresh groceries and food items to household essentials, electronics, beverages, wines, and much more. Enjoy quality products, friendly service, and a comfortable shopping experience. Anytime you need to shop, day or night, Esomat Hypermarket is always open. Esomat Hypermarket. Smart shopping starts here. For more information, please call 0774 752544.
Welcome to the origin of the national resistance movement and its inception from the 1960s. This documentary covers the socio-political economic transformation of Uganda and what has been achieved since 1986. Achievements of the NRM revolution.
As we are just about to celebrate the 35th victory anniversary of the National Resistance Movement, I would like to invite you to this documentary, which is about a book I wrote with Dr. Gilbert Gumoshabe in 2015 on the achievements of the NRM revolution, what the NRM has achieved from the beginning up to now. But this documentary is updating it to the present because a lot has been done since 2015. From this picture of President Yoweri Museveni in the bush, who has been the leader of this revolution since the 70s to date, a lot you will see where and how the journey has been from where we have come from to where we are and whether we are surely going. You are welcome, and a luta continua. My latest song these days is Abogere Abogere, Uganda songa mbere, songa mbere, Yubogere Abogere, Uganda songa mbere. Thank you very much.
In his own words, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda, said, "Many people have been underestimating, underrating and minimizing the achievements of our struggle for many years of devoted, sacrificial and resilient efforts. Many young people, especially those who were born after 1980, have been misguided to minimize these achievements because they are not listed but rather hear from them in words. Instead of promoting values and increasing business, the leaders were busy promoting sectarianism based on tribes and religion. The diversity we have as a country should be the great asset to advance our socio, political and economic needs." I am happy that this book has come up